When you join WallStreetBets, you'll decide to YOLO everything sooner or later, and then there is only two things that can happen. You can make a ton of money or you can lose everything, as this one trader apparently won all his YOLOs so far and turned just $6,000 into $260,000 in just a month. But on the opposite side, we have a trader who lost $290,000 in just 9 days. But first, it is my honor to present to you a trader who goes by the name of Potato111A. Recently he had an insane month, as he turned just $6,000 into $260,414.76. But before we go into detail of this insane 4000% gain, let's go all the way back to his first trade in March the 31st, 2023, when he YOLO'd into Charles Schwab shares with $187,000, and with the play being a YOLO on shares, it wasn't as crazy as some of his latest plays, but it still represented 96% of his portfolio, and he honestly had to start somewhere. Now keep in mind that he YOLO'd into bank shares shortly after banks tanked and there was massive fear driving their stock prices. But despite that, he decided to risk roughly $190,000. In the next month the stock moved down and up, and he didn't reveal if he actually sold for a loss or a profit. But just a month after his opening play, he finally got a taste for options, and oh boy, what a mistake that was. He YOLO'd with about $60,000 into Microsoft puts with a striking price at $290 and expiring in about 7 months. Now when he posted this YOLO, his break-even price was at $272.45, meaning that if he wanted to break even, Microsoft would have to drop below this price. At the time, the stock was trading at $295.71, and let's just say he definitely didn't make money on this play, because since then the stock hasn't even dropped below $300. Now luckily he didn't lose it all and only took an 8k loss, and then it took another 2 months before he regained confidence in his trading abilities, as he YOLO'd with about $21,000 into AMD puts with a striking price of $109 expiring in about a month. Now the funny part is that he decided to buy puts on the stock that has already dropped by about 13% in the past 2 weeks. He posted his position on Friday, and on Monday the stock somehow actually fell further down, giving him confidence to increase his position by about $10,000. But the very next day the stock jumped up, cutting his profits almost in half. He quickly sold for a $6,000 gain just in time, because for the next couple of days the stock continued going up, which would most likely turn his gain into a loss. But his appetite for options hasn't expired just yet. A couple of days after the AMD play, he bought $37,000 worth of 1 month till expiry C3 AI puts with a striking price at $30. Now once again he picked the worst time to buy puts, because the stock dropped by 30% in the past week, and he bought literally at the bottom, with the stock rising by 30% in the next week. Now he didn't specify how much he lost before he closed the position, but I think it's safe to say he did make money on it, which is why he took another 2-month break before making another insane play. This time he bought roughly $105,000 worth of TFC calls with a striking price at $30 expiring in about 4 months. The stock luckily jumped up the very next day, but then it started falling, and he sadly didn't make an update on this play. But a month later he still had $75,000 to throw into TLT calls, and he actually made an update on this play, posting that he was up by about $7,000, and that in the end he sold for more than a 20k gain. He then used that money to YOLO into Nvidia calls expiring in about a month. Now luckily the stock just briefly jumped up by about $10, so he sold half of his contracts and decided to let the remaining $27,000 ride. And then he YOLO'd into Mara calls with about $30,000, his reasoning being that the stock had 25% short percentage and Bitcoin was going to the moon. And he honestly made an amazing buy, because since the day he bought the calls the stock went up very consistently, with it currently being up by more than 100% since then. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that just a week after opening his position he was already up by 81%, as the stock got up to $10.03. But he wasn't going to lock in his profits just yet. that, oh no, he's not leaving until Mara hits $25. For context, this stock was trading at $10 and now it's trading at $16, so it looks like he made the right call. At the same time, he went back into 1 month till expiry Nvidia calls and he bought them just a day before the stock hit the bottom, so he was down bigly, but he wasn't going to let a couple of red days stop him from achieving greatness, so he did the only possible thing and bought more. Now at the time he was down by 25%, around 16k, but then on November the 1st the stock suddenly started going up and up and up and up, and just when he broke even he decided to close 15 of his 45 calls to lock in some of the profits and let the remaining 50k ride. Meanwhile, he also opened up a small 2 weeks till expiry position on SPY calls, on which he quickly started making a lot of money, and being high on his success he even said he won all his YOLOs so far. And then he bought $79,000 worth of AMD calls, but he got scared, so just a day later he sold most of his options and exited the rest for 12k of profit. And all of these recent gains and still open positions brought us to his most recent insane gain, as he's down by 4,122% or $253,247.26. Now his chart obviously looks extremely beautiful and consistent, but it's not all from the gains we've discussed. You see, deep in his comments I found that on October the 24th he bought 200 clean Spark calls. Now at the time his position was worth $21,000 and market cap wise the stock was quite small, but he made an insanely good bet as the stock absolutely exploded, going up by more than 100%, which is why exactly a month later he was able to sell his position for about $250,000. And on top of that he made another good choice, as he already withdrew 100k and threw it straight into saving. But he just couldn't stay away from options for too long, so he went back in and bought $76,000 worth of Spirit Airlines calls, and I guess only time will tell what happens with his money. Now here's what happens when things go a completely opposite way and you just can't stop losing. As trader by the name of the Crazy lost $290,000 in just 9 days YOLOing on Tesla calls. On November the 29th his account was worth around $340,000, but then he decided to buy a lot of 2 days and 1 week till expiry calls on Tesla, and with the stock just slowly falling since the day he bought calls until his expiration date, it shouldn't come as a surprise that his account is now worth $50,000. And if you want to see what happens when you mix options and overconfidence, click on the video just popped up. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe, and if you have any questions or recommendations, leave in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.